Welcome to the Ventura Rock Spot. I'm Pam Baumgardner. The Ventura Rock Spot is an interview program where we speak to artists in and around the 805, as well as the artists who come to the 805 to play. We sit down, we do a little Q&A, they perform a couple songs, and it's really quite interesting. We get the skinny on the artists themselves, from the artists themselves. If you want to see past episodes, just go to VenturaRockSpot.com. And joining us on this episode, we have Will Breman. Will, welcome to the show.
Very good to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited. I've been seeing your name. I've been reading about you. I've been watching videos. And as soon as we're through this pandemic, I'm going to be out to see you live.
Oh, wonderful.
But
Thank
now
you.
we're going to get a little taste about what you're all about. So this is very cool. Thank you for being here.
Oh, it's good to be here. Thank you again.
So you are from the Santa Barbara area, right?
I've been living out here in Santa Barbara for the last 10 years. I was born in the LA area. I lived in the San Fernando Valley. That's where I grew up. Came up in 2011 for college and just never left.
That's how I feel about Ventura. I came here 30 somewhat years ago and I'm like, I'm never leaving. I love the area.
Yeah, there's no reason
and it's
to.
a great place for artists.
Yeah, exactly. No, I love the community out here. It's really kind of a brotherhood. All right, it's not as cutthroat as going into a big city like LA or Nashville. You know, there's no competition. We're all just kind of supporting each other and just trying to, help each other succeed at this, because we all know how hard it is.
Yes, and that is so well put, and I'm very involved in the Ventura scene itself. Ventura RockSpot covers all of the 805, but I find that so much to be true, is that everyone loves to help each other, give them a helping hand, help spread the word about their gigs. It's really quite remarkable.
Yeah, I couldn't wish for anything better.
Yeah. So tell me about your background a little bit. So how did you first discover that you were an artist, that your passion was music? How did that all start for you?
Well, I mean, I grew up doing a lot of cool music things. My parents wanted me to have a hobby really early on. So when I was like 3 or 4, they got me into doing piano stuff, which, when you don't feel like you have a purpose in doing that, it kind of feels monotonous. It's just like any kid learning an instrument. But
Sure.
when I was 13, I got bored. We moved houses, and it took forever to set up cable, so I couldn't just watch SpongeBob or WWE or whatever I was watching, right? And so I had this guitar that my uncle had given me, and I found an old Eagles song book that kind of came with it, and so I started just learning the easy chords to Hotel California. And I had a cool hobby at the very least. So I taught myself when I was 13, but that only goes so far. And I never really thought I would pursue music for a living until a few years later. I went out with my dad with an organization to help rebuild some houses in New Orleans during right after Hurricane Katrina. And on one of the off days, we went to Preservation Hall, which is in the French Quarter. It's this real hole-in-the-wall little jazz club that has a world-famous house band. A lot of great cats have gone through there. I think, don't quote me on this, I think that's where Louis Armstrong got his start. And I remember that night so vividly. I remember sitting closer to the front of this and watching these 4 musicians play and like feeling viscerally these emotions that I've never, felt evoked through music. And like it was hard to articulate when I was just a young kid. I was maybe 14, but I remember leaving that with just this kind of feeling of, oh my God, I need to do music for the rest of my life.
This is what matters, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so why don't you go ahead and perform your first song? What is this one called?
All right, so this is this is the lead single off of my recent record. I put this out in 2019. It's called the Santa Barbara Soul Music EP. You could find it on my website, as well as all those fun streaming services, the millions and millions of them. And this is called Anne Marie. Anne Marie, I met you at a house show in Ivy. Your tightly skinny, bubbly smile made me notice you, and your style so effortless and chic. Every day I see you lumber out from Sabado, head out to work making that espresso, trying to support those college dreams. I've only seen you from a distance, and our friends say you're awesome to be around. But if I wasn't so dang timid, I'd have asked you by now. But Anne-Marie, forgive the shyness, it's a part of me. I'd rather know you better than stay in the background, wishing for you to notice me. I could see us in the afternoon at Hendry's Beach, learn about each other as we stroll past all the mansions and keep the tar off of our feet. Or maybe set up a picnic by the Mission Hill. It doesn't matter to me long as we can still enjoy each other's company. I'm up for whatever you're saying, if it means I had the chance to take you out. But if I wasn't so dang self-conscious, it would have happened by now. But Anne-Marie, forgive the shyness, it's a part of me. I'd rather know you better than stay in the background, wishing for you to notice me. I hate getting curbed by my emotions, but I can't leave these feelings up in the air. So if you don't mind me being this straightforward, I'll just ask you right here. But Anne-Marie, forgive the shyness, it's a part of me. I'd rather know you better than stay in the background, wishing for you to notice me. La da 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 da. I just want you to notice me. Ooh, I just want you to notice me. La do 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 my bye. I just want you to notice me. Yeah, 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 yeah. I just want you to notice me.
Will, very well done. Oh my goodness. And the shout out of Henry's Beach and Ivy and all the, that was awesome. Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Do you typically write about what you know?
I mean, I don't see why not. You know, I think every songwriter has to kind of include some measure of their own life experience in order to, I guess, more humanize that song. You know, otherwise it just feels stale. It just feels kind of soulless to me. But yeah, I mean, I only try to write about what I know and what I experience.
Okay, so let's get down to the meat and potatoes. What made you audition for The Voice? I mean, you got an amazing voice, no doubt about it, but how did that come about for you?
Entirely by accident. It happened entirely by accident because I had auditioned when I was a lot younger, when I was about 18, just for fun. It had recently come out. It started just being its own thing. And I was a different musician. I was a different singer. I wasn't as experienced in that regard yet, and it went completely nowhere. I went to the LA Convention Center, and it just, did not go anywhere for me that day. But they still had my email. And I didn't realize that because all of their emails subsequent to that went to spam. And so one day I'm looking for a completely different email. It's June of 2018. And I noticed this spam email from NBC saying, hey, we're doing open mics at the legendary Hotel Cafe in Hollywood. We're sponsoring these open mics. Please sign up. And I mean, the Hotel Cafe is a wonderful spot. I've seen a lot of great shows there. I've now had the privilege to play there a couple times. It's a dream venue for me. But at the time, I'm thinking, okay, well, how many thousand people have signed up for this, right?
Right.
And so I went into it completely jaded. I didn't take that portion of it seriously. They wanted custom videos. I think I just sent them a link to my website, because there's videos there. And I forgot about it. I sent it in and I forgot about it. And then 6 months later, I get the contact saying they love what they were hearing. They wanted me to audition for the show. They wanted me to play the open mic. And this whole time I'm thinking, wait, what? No, you're not. I'm expecting to like transfer money via like Western Union or something, receive like my inheritance from The Voice,
Right.
that sort of deal. But they were serious. They invited me to a callback, and I figured, okay, what do I have to lose? So I did that, and it just kept going and going and going, and I ended up finding myself on the show.
Oh my God. That is so amazing. I've seen a couple clips on YouTube of your performances and how that all went down.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot to talk about. I want to hear another song in just a second here, but did you know going in that you wanted to choose John Legend?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, any of them are great. I've had friends who've tried out for the show and who have told me like their perspective on certain people, and like they're all amazing people. I've gotten to meet all of them. I've gotten to talk in depth with all of them. Every coach on that show, it was wonderful and treated me with very kindly. I'm grateful to all of them. But yeah, no, I grew up with John Legend's music. Absolutely. His stuff, it just resonates so much with me. I get that comparison to him occasionally when I play gigs, So it was kind of one and done. I knew immediately that was going to happen.
Gwen looked a little like she was a little like, oh, I want you. But I think she saw the writing on the wall,
I mean, give or take. I feel like I could have explained that better because living in LA, her influence and No Doubt is it doesn't need explaining.
Yeah.
So I felt like for me that was a bit of an awkward moment that I accidentally kind of put myself into. But that being said, no, she's a great sport. She was wonderful to work with as well. There's no love lost there. There's no love lost.
All right, so we're going to have you perform another song, and we'll get back to The Voice in it because I have a couple more follow-up questions about that. And I'm sure you have a lot of anecdotes to share. So what song do you want to perform now?
All right, so I just got done recording this latest single. We're hoping to put this out in summer. We were going to do this last year, and then just with the advent of everything going on, it just felt right to do this when things kind of cooled down a little bit. And it's been a while since I wrote a breakup song that is just it's just a fun breakup song. So I hope you guys like it. It's called Tried. Treated you just like a queen, too one-sided. Now I could see square one posted, mostly relieved that it all went to waste. Cause while I was on my hustle, you were on the gram, stunning for some follows and likes. Could have done without the texting, stories and the tweets, whining how you tried and you tried. Don't tell me you tried, cause that implies that you put in just a little bit of effort. Don't tell me you tried, cause that implies that you sacrificed a little bit of time. Told me your love wasn't fake, shook it, how bad those words have aged. When one day later you went straight, fully back in your ways. And this new boy you've been seeing looks like he could be an extra out of Tiger King. Quality freaking human, made fun of my ASD to try and get you to leave. Don't tell me you tried, cause that implies that you put in just a little bit of effort. Don't tell me you tried, cause that implies that you sacrificed a little bit of time. You could say it was never meant to be. At least that part is easy to believe. Just don't tell me you tried, cause that implies that you put in just a little bit of effort. Whoa! said you were afraid of being seen as the bad guy. Gee, I wonder why that would be. The scarlet tinted lens is looking really cheap, but maybe your 7 fans disagree. Don't tell me you tried, cause that implies that you put in just a little bit of effort, ain't worth it to cry. I don't wanna have to waste any more of my own time. You could say it was never meant to be, at least that part is easy to believe. Just don't tell me you tried, cause that implies that you put in effort. Thank you.
Oh, nice. All right. And what kind of words of wisdom are you going to take with you to the end of days from him? What did you learn
goodness.
from him?
I think one of the craziest moments for me was right after our rehearsals for the battles. So that would have been right after my blind audition. It would have been the next song that I did. And everyone was kind of grouped together, and everyone was also kind of afraid to talk to John for some reason, because, you know, this is John Legend we're talking about. Thankfully, I lack a filter sometimes. And so if no one else is going to talk to him, well, dang it, I'm going to talk to him. And so I just asked him about his songwriting process. And he gave me a lot of interesting tips, because his approach is almost entirely opposite from how I approach songwriting. I always approached it from a lyric focus, from a concept kind of focus, and his is more melodic based. And so with some of the techniques that he was talking to me about in just these 15 minutes, we were waiting for someone to take a photo of all of us, you know, just that moment changed a lot of how I write songs now. And yeah, I'm going to always take that with me.
Very nice. He sounds like he's, like you said, a genuinely nice person that really cares and really would like to help.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's my impression of him. You know, I'm very grateful for him.
Now, I mean, I'm looking at your performances on YouTube, and I'm looking at your performance here. You just look like you've been doing this forever and ever. Were you ever nervous playing in front of people?
Oh, all the time. All the time. And that doesn't that doesn't exclude being on the show. There were times, like, you know, because you're so aware that this is in front of millions of people and a lot is at stake here, you know, and it's stuff that's going to be on the internet for however long it's going to be. And so, yeah, that anxiety was hard, you know, and it taught me a lot of how to kind of care for my own mental health, you know, because it's very hard when you're so busy on that show, you know, there's not a lot of time you kind of can devote to yourself. So in those moments, you kind of make it a Sabbath in sort of in a sense, you know. So that kind of taught me how to eat right, you know, so that I can eat the things that can help clear my head rather than kind of add to that fog. You know, it reinvigorate kind of the importance of exercise, because that just kind of helps with the endorphins in the system. And most importantly, mindfulness for sure, you know. Nowadays, like I do a lot of meditation, and you know, it's just a focusing mechanism for me, and that helps a ton with that sort of stuff.
Right. Now, you haven't shied away from letting people know that you do have Asperger's syndrome, and that you're an advocate for people, because not a lot of people talk about that. And so you're just a hero to so many people for just coming out and saying, hey, I have it, I'm on the spectrum.
Yeah, no, it was interesting kind of debating whether or not to do that for the show. But I mean, it's exactly what you're saying. You know, what I wanted to do there for the most part is try and be that person that I wish I looked up to when I was like a kid, when I was a kid. And, you know, there's also kind of this, I truly believe that, like, the more that we talk about this sort of stuff and the more representation that's out there from people with ASD, people on the spectrum, you know, the more that you hear those stories, the more that we're able to build empathy, and with that, solidarity. You know, the more educated we can get, the more we know how to make the world a more accepting place for people on the spectrum.
Absolutely. Right on. So let's hear another song. What is this one going to be called? Or what is this one called?
All right, I did a couple higher energy ones, so I'll do a folkier one just for fun. This one is also off that Santa Barbara Soul Music record, and it's a song I wrote about a couple of my friends who got married recently. I know that's amazing; no one ever does that. And they built their own tiny house on wheels. And it got me wondering, well, what would I do if I built a tiny house? And so naturally I wrote a song about it. And so because my titles for songs are super straightforward, this song is called Tiny House. Feel like if I had a lot of time and money, I would build a tiny house up by the sea. I put it on a set of wheels and roll around the country traveling, just my music and me. I'm not a fan of having more than I need, just a home to lay my head and a whole world to plant my feet. And while I don't mind a place to come back to, I'm more fulfilled seeing the world around me. I think the only wish I'd have would be to share it with a lover, all the places we would see. But then I wonder if this tiny house I built would be big enough to house both our hopes and dreams. I wonder if my heart's too set on other things to include love for someone else. They deserve that much from me. I used to be afraid of spending life alone, and now I wonder if that's the worst thing. Maybe I'm just being selfish, or maybe I'm just trying to be realistic of where I am right now. Maybe one day I will stumble into someone who will make a home out of this tiny house. Maybe one day I will stumble into someone who will make a home out of this tiny house.
Beautiful, just beautiful.
Thank you.
I know that when you came out of The Voice, you made it all the way to the quarterfinals, was just remarkable. Very
I made it
well
all
done.
the way to the semifinals. Yes.
Semifinals, okay. That coming off of The Voice, that you must have had all these giant plans, and then they were just all sort of taken away, weren't they? What happened there? What did you have planned, and what happened?
Oh goodness, we had a whole national tour planned. It was we had dates all the way out into fall of that year, going all the way through Canada and back to every part of the U.S. And it's a weird feeling when within 2 weeks' time you see all of those shows cancel. It's a weird feeling. I mean, especially given, during kind of that month of March, it was just said, hey, we're only going to be doing this for 2 weeks. But I think everyone in that situation just knew it was going to be longer. And so it was a big wake-up call that's like, okay, I need to figure out how to make myself more well-rounded as a musician, as a content creator, as an artist, so that I'm not fully reliant on just playing gigs to survive, And so it was an opportunity for me to go to school. I'm still doing that, doing a little bit of an opera master's degree at Cal State Northridge, which is cool. It was an opportunity to try and work as much as I can on my songwriting, to try and work on learning kind of some new skills regarding video creation, graphic design, just to try and make myself more well-rounded as an independent artist. And I think most importantly, it was an opportunity for me to kind of step back and reassess my own mental health and kind of where I am with my voice. Because when you come off a show like that, my voice was tired. And so the rest, looking back on it, that time, for everyone was hard, and it still continues to be, for sure. But I'm grateful that I came out of it having learned some new skills, having grown as a person and as a musician, and falling more in love with my purpose. And I think most importantly, resting my voice.
Yeah. And speaking of your voice, did you have formal training at some point? Because you talked about picking up the guitar and playing it and, putzing around and what have you. But have you had formal training?
Yeah, to a degree. I think the biggest amount of formal training I got, aside from my master's currently, was in my undergrad. I went to Westmont College out in Montecito, and I was in their music department with the entire 4 years of it. I had a vocal teacher who was awesome. Shout out to Bob Rockabrand, rest in peace. And that kind of got my voice from one level to the next.
Right.
Prior to that, most of my singing, most of that training came through just playing gigs, through playing at church, through playing kind of wherever I could find.
Okay. Well, we're going to play one more song and then we're going to wrap it up after that. So what is your final tune?
Okay. So I'm going to do a newer one. There's a project I'm currently working on with a lot of songs that I wrote when I was a banjo player in a bluegrass band a few years ago. And we'll do this one. This one is one of them. It's one of my personal favorite songs to play. I wrote it when I was 21, and it's very much a true story that has to do with the Goleta Butterfly Preserve. I hope you guys like it. It's called Butterflies. I took my baby to see the butterflies, and it was a lovely Goleta day outside. The type of morning where the sunbeams that break through the clouds light up the cliffs by the beach. As we drove there, my girl got so excited, I couldn't think of someone else to do life with. 'Cause at that moment I was so crazily in love with her, and I could tell she was the same. We had been there before, and I knew it was a favorite place to be. And for months I worked hard stalking shelves to get her a ring to make that day real sweet. That ring was patiently waiting in my pocket as we got out the car and started walking. But then I looked at my darling and I noticed her mood start to drastically change. And this had happened before, so I blew it off. She'll see those butterflies and bounce back strong. I was too busy being so patiently in love with her, and I thought she was in love with me. We had been there before, and I thought it was her favorite place to be. And for months I worked hard like a dog to get that ring and try and keep her here with me. I took my baby to see the butterflies, and it was obvious the hurt in her eyes. Even though I tried and I tried to convince her everything was okay, but I couldn't fix the problems in her mind. All I could really do was...
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
If you want to follow Will, he has Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and they're all Will Breman Music, right?
Yes.
And your website as well is willbremanmusic.com.
Yep, consistency.
So, yes, I love that about you. So tell me, what does the future hold for you short term? You have new music coming out this summer, you said?
Yes, I have some new music coming out this summer, trying to navigate getting vaccinated with playing some more shows in the Central Coast area as things open up. I'm planning a tour to the South because why not? That's kind of, helpful for my style. And I have that one song Tried coming out, and I'm also working on another project with butterflies on it. And yeah, just kind of chilling and playing some music and continuing to do what I love.
Well, thank you so much for being here and being on the program, Will. We really appreciate it. We love you, and we wish you nothing but success.
Thank you guys so much. It's a privilege being on here. Thank you for having me.
On behalf of Will Breman, our producer, Michelle Hoover, and GWCProductions, OurVenturaTV, and VenturaRocks.com, I'm Pam Baumgartner. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.